Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by one of my dearest friend, my side wife. You know what I mean? Like everybody was thinking I was your husband when we were out there for a minute. But anyway, welcome Jessica, the Black Widow Borga. How you doing?
How are you? I'm great.
Like it's you got to say your name both ways. I'd like if we go to Germany, I would love to see you there. They just did Italy. I want to see you on that card. I want to see you on every card. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long time before they get you a fight. I feel like.
I hope not, but yeah. I'm hoping that it won't be a long layoff. But yeah, Italy, I would love that.
I know they're going back there this fall. Let me ask you this, and I asked Bryce the same question. You're so dominant, you make it look so easy. Is it a curse that you're so good?
If I don't get fights, I guess kinda. I don't view it as a curse though. I mean, it is easy for me. But I just I just want to keep fighting though. So if it doesn't allow me to keep fighting, yeah, I guess you can say.
Well, so when we were out there, I had been approached when we were in Dubai. Someone said, "Hey, how would you like to be a manager?" And it was something I had never thought about. And then they were like, "Well, I think you'd be good at it." So I actually hit up your coaches, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should do it." And they said the one thing you should do though is you don't get your fighter like a big. You want to build them up slow, and you are somebody they can't build up slow because you're that good. And like I said, and that was the thing. They said you don't want your fighter to look that good right away. You look phenomenal right out the gate, and now it's gonna be a while before they fight you again.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of like you said, it can be viewed that way as a curse because yeah, it just have always come so easy for me, and I hope it's not going to be a huge problem. I know that there's got to be some tough girls that think that they can beat me. I mean, think is a good word, but they they got to be able to have some kind of confidence and come in here.
I got to take for you, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like it. I don't think you and Misfit should fight. I don't. And I'll tell you why. Like I was with you for the week of going into Dubai. There's no way you can get down to 35. Like getting to 140. You actually came in a pound under, which was amazing to me. There's no way you get to 35, and I don't think she's big enough to get up to 45. And I feel like it's not a good fight. That's what I think.
Yeah, I really think that she should just stay in her fucking area. I mean, just stay in her little zone and shut the fuck up. Like, if if you don't think you're good enough to beat me at my weight class, keep my name out of your mouth. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's simple for everyone else, maybe not for her.
And you guys are both super competitive. I hope you guys are in the same spot, and you guys because I actually interviewed with Misfit, and you saw she was very polite, and she said, "Look, Jessica can roll
Yeah,
45, I can roll 35." So I
I
don't know
thought
why
we
she's
came
kind
to
of
an
weird.
agreement. I
Okay.
did. I thought honestly, I thought it was like the beef was over, but then she started posting like she's coming at 145, and somebody sent it to me because I have her blocked. I don't want to see her shit, but
Okay.
somebody sent it to me, and I was like, I don't, I just, why does it continue? Besides the fact that I think she's just trying to stay relevant. Like there's a new battered bitch around, and it's a problem. I guess I don't know.
It is that like whole competitive thing though. Like, and you guys are both alpha female ladies. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to be the top dog. I just feel like BKFC is better as a whole if you have you a super dominant champion. You got Misfit a super dominant champion, and you try to bring in women, from outside, from boxing, from MMA to fight you to. I feel like we're better off with two dominant champions versus one that beats up the other one.
I agree. I agree. I mean, what's the point in fight? Like, we're technically supposed to be on the same side. Technically supposed to be on the same side. We're bare knuckle fighters. You know what I'm saying? We both came from MMA backgrounds. But I mean, if she wants it, I'm here. But other than that, I think you're right. I think she should just stay in her lane and I'll keep ruling mine.
You're somebody who has all the MMA experience, and I've talked to like boxers, and they said, once they do the BKFC, people reach out to them from the boxing promotion. Hey, tell me about it. Has anybody from MMA reached out to you and said, hey, tell me about the bare knuckle? They're interested in it, or like it's kind of crickets?
Crickets. Unfortunately, I do think it is. I think it is growing that, they have the other countries now taking part, that they said that there's fighters from other countries really, it's growing. I
Sure.
just think it's going to take some time, unfortunately.
Well, and we heard in when we were over there in Dubai, there's I think she's in Cambodia. They said that she's going to be fighting on an upcoming card, and she's coming for you. We'll see. Everybody can talk, but when
Who's
it's
this
time to,
that's coming for me?
she was the woman who was supposed to fight on the Italy card, but the medical or like her visa or something. She was supposed not Italy. She was supposed to fight Spain. She was supposed to fight on the Spain card. She's from like Cambodia or something, or her husband's from Cambodia, and she's training over there. I don't. We had so much going on, but yeah, her husband was like, "She's coming for Jessica," and I was like, "Well, we'll
oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes, over there. Okay, yeah, I remember.
I can't remember her name either. Yeah.
I mean, bring it. I'm ready for it.
All right, so you were awesome enough to post like that we're interviewing. So you actually had some of your fans send in questions. So here's one of them from Ron. He said, "Would you ever consider a fight with Amanda Nunez? Is she really, if she really is a lioness, maybe she would consider taking the gloves off for a money fight?"
Yes, absolutely. Anyone, any big name. If anyone's wondering if I will fight anyone, I will fight anyone. And I want to be the first one that they fight in bare knuckle to show them the difference between the sports. They could be the GOAT in their own sport, but there can only be one.
Okay, so again, we got to talk about that. So Hannah Rankin. Hannah was a girl that we said, "Hey, look, you need another fight or two," and she kept calling you out. "I want Jessica." And Austin Trout and I both told her, like, you should probably get a couple more. And she was determined and she wanted it. And she was, a world-class, championship boxer, came in under a minute, under 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I really, it's not even to sound cocky. I just, in this sport, I am different. There's not many girls, even in MMA. Honestly, I am a different breed in general. My aggression, my power, I have a lot of attributes that make it even harder to deal with me besides just my mentality. So it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be very difficult.
Okay, again, so in Dubai, I keep bringing it up because I spent a week with you. So it's funny because I wanted to interview. What's crazy too is like it's been 1 month since we've been, like you're fighting Dubai. Like
It's
I was just
crazy.
thinking about that today. Anyway, we spent a lot of time, and I was talking with your coaches. I'm watching you do mitt work. I have a broken hand, so I couldn't do anything with you. But your coaches said she is the most intense and vicious person that we have at the gym. And you have Jared Warren, you have Dave Mundell, you have Brand, and they said she is the most vicious, like, and you're mean. You're fucking mean.
Yeah, you heard me some of the time too, but yeah, no, I am. There is a side to me. I am a nice person. I am a good person. I have a good heart. There is a side of me though that I get to release in training, and I get to release legally fighting, and that side of me is scary. It is a version of me from everything that I have bottled up, everything that I don't let released into normal day-to-day life. I am different when it comes to that. I like the violence. I like the aggression, and I want to work hard. So like I'm there to do a job. I'm there to train. I'm there to get better. And I prove that I keep getting better. It's that mentality. It's different.
Okay, let's ask another question from some of your people. Ben McLaren says, "What has been your personal favorite fight and why?" So I guess tell me your personal favorite fight in BKFC and then maybe MMA.
Oh man, well, BKFC, everyone knows, I guess, what my favorite one is now. That's gonna be like probably mine for, if not always, until I start, beating legends. This
Sure.
this one is definitely my, out of all my fights, even my MMA, this one has been the groundbreaking, first ever 145 title, like history making. And so this one's going to be ingrained for a while. But MMA, probably my debut with Bellator. I went against Amber Leibrock and I beat her in the first round. Most of my wins, all in amateur and pro, actually have been, even in MMA, have been in the first round. But people think that I can't go multiple rounds because of that, and that's just not the case. I
So
just
let me
don't see
ask
the
you,
need to.
so have you ever knocked another one of your competitors completely unconscious? She was out. Like, have you done that before?
Not in the legal fight, no.
Do you feel like it's just because it's so much different when you connect knuckles to bone as opposed to with, like the bigger pads?
That absolutely has a huge aspect towards it. But I think honestly, with me, my power is only increasing because of my strength and conditioning coach. We're doing things that, in particular, literally like resistance with 50 pounds and making me even stronger, and with the technique that my shift team is teaching me. It's the strength, the technique, and my aggression. Like, it's all of it put together, and bare knuckle is different in itself. So it's just going to be hard to deal with me.
Okay, let's talk Coach Ruiz. Great guy. We recently saw Ryan Reber. Reber has had an issue with his gas tank. He did not gas out at all in this past fight. He looked phenomenal. A little bit of a slow start, but he looked phenomenal all rounds. I'm curious to see what you do now that you're. I mean, you have been working with Coach Ruiz, but even more. And now I'm really looking forward to see what Dave does.
Oh yeah, he knows his stuff. Let me just tell you, he is a fantastic, very smart, very educated, and the body, how it works, injury prevention. I mean, he is incredible. That's literally why I drive an hour and a half from where I live to go to him, like multiple times every week, and that's still an hour away from my training in Tampa. So I literally drive an hour and a half to him in Palm Harbor, and then an hour to 2 hours depending on traffic, because it can take 2 hours in that one little area to get to Tampa. So I'd travel a long ways because it's worth it. Like, he's incredible. He knows his stuff.
And you're a world champion, so it makes absolutely a ton of sense to go where you're winning, right? So,
Yeah.
all right. Another question that was sent in from a Juan Perez. He said, "Will you ever compete in a jiu-jitsu competition?"
Again, because I have a lot.
Sure.
I've done IBJJF and everything, but honestly, for the time being, I'm focusing on what my heart is and where my heart is, and that's right now boxing. My passion is boxing. Will I do another jujitsu competition down the line? Probably, but right now, there's no point in doing a jujitsu competition and risking, getting pulled out of a fight or something because of some crazy injury or something like that. No, that's just not worth it for me. I'm feeling the best I have in my entire career, and I feel fantastic, and I want to keep growing in the sport that I am focusing on.
Say it's difficult for BKFC to get you a fight, but BKFC said, "Hey, this woman approached us about doing a bare knuckle MMA fight, like a big name. Is that something? Like, say Amanda Nunez was like, oh, I'd fight her, but I want to do bare knuckle MMA. Is that something that interests you?"
Yeah, I mean, if the money's good enough, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, MMA, they don't usually offer a lot. So, but a big
Sure.
name like that could. So, I mean, yeah, as long as I don't know if I'll be allowed to, technically, being it's bare knuckle. I
No,
think
I'm
I'm
saying as
supposed to.
far as like BKFC putting it on, because like
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
I got you. Yeah, yeah. If the money's, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, heck yeah.
it's kind of weird because once you're a champion, you're not supposed to fight outside the organization. But Franco's been fighting like MMA outside the organization, so I don't know if they're like kind of
Gloved is
lax that.
supposed to be, yeah, a gloved is supposed to be okay, but just not for another bare knuckle promotion, from
Right,
my understanding.
right. Okay, so here's a question from the Reddit. It says, "Do you believe that BKFC will legitimately invest in this division when 115 and 125 have yet to bring in any real big names that challenge their champions?"
Yeah, I want to believe that. I want to believe that it's going to grow. We want to grow the sport. The sport is growing. I mean, and the numbers don't lie. I do think it's just going to take a little bit of time. The same thing happened with MMA. It
Right.
takes a little bit of time, but I do believe that the sport is growing at a faster pace than UFC. I mean, the numbers don't lie there, and it's going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit more time. It just started.
You're probably not the person to ask this because you are so dominant, but somebody on the Reddit said, "What's more challenging for a bare knuckle fighter, to prepare for an opponent with a boxing background or one with an MMA base?"
Oh man,
You got Kat Lerner. Kat Lerner was the MMA base, and then you have Hannah
yeah,
Rankin, who's the boxing, and you beat the shit out of both of them in about a minute. So
I guess, yeah, I guess you could say that boxing would be a little more dangerous just because it is boxing. They have more, footwork and stuff. It depends on who you're fighting, and it depends on, like, who's on the other end of that as well, like me. But yeah, it just depends. I would say honestly, MMA was probably easier. Um, but it, yeah, I would say boxing probably is harder, I guess.
Okay, so you had said you thought that ranking would be tough enough to make it out of the first. Were you that unimpressed? I mean, like, did it literally just come that easy, or I mean, were you didn't want to play with your food, so you went out and tried to end it quicker?
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised at what she did. When she came in aggressive, I was like, oh, interesting, because I really thought that she thought she was going to outbox me. Because I haven't got to show my boxing. So I was like, oh, so we're doing this. Okay. I mean, either way, I think it was, I knew I was going to, of course I knew I was going to beat her. But when I finished her, I was just, yeah, I was not unimpressed. I just keep proving to myself and to everyone how different I am and how much of a threat I am. So I knew I was going to finish her. Wasn't expecting to that fast. I really thought that she was going to be able to take some punishment, but we did work hard. We worked hard on getting that first ever female knockout in BK, in bare knuckle history. So we did what we came to do.
Did it feel kind of like, was it a great feeling? Clearly Connor was behind her, and it felt like the promotion was really pushing her and hyping her, and you went in and absolutely derailed that train.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think the last two opponents were set out to take me out, and I think they thought that they were going to. And I love being underestimated. I really do, because that fuels me even more. And I tend to be underestimated my entire career, really. But yeah, I know they were probably a little disappointed about the whole thing, but I'm not.
Have you heard from anybody at BKFC since your win? Like,
About
hey, Jessica, we're looking at bringing somebody in. Has there been any mention of that since? Nothing.
Nope, not yet. Not yet. My management has talked to Dave Feldman, and we're wanting to hopefully get something soon. He wants to bring me back soon, so it is in the works on searching, and it is in the works on finding someone.
Is it one of those things like, I mean, you don't want to fight a soccer mom who's willing to take, $10,000 to fight you, but you'll literally beat up anybody? Or, I mean, like, hey, you're not going to fight down against somebody who clearly has no business being in there.
I honestly want to fight someone that is good. I want to fight someone that has credentials, like I want to keep challenging myself. I don't, like you said, I don't want to bring in a nobody. And if unfortunately part of this game is having a social media as well. So you can be somebody and you haven't been working on your social media, and unfortunately that's hurting you. So
Sure.
you probably should get on that. But if you are somebody, your credentials will follow too. Your social media will follow. Everything will follow. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But right now, I want big names. I want the fights that have something behind them. I want to keep proving who I am.
It's one of those things like, yes, there's a rival company out there. You know what I mean? There's a rival company. They have a pretty dominant champion at about 145. It's one of those things I would love to see the companies work together and do like a night of champions and do like a couple fights. And I feel like you versus a Jamie Driver would be a huge fight.
I would love that, especially because apparently there was some talk about she was talking smack to Crystal Pittman, which is my teammate online. And I don't have any respect for that. I don't respect anyone who don't respect where they could be. They could be, she's talking about she's never quit. She's never, been knocked out. Careful what you wish for, because karma is a bitch. You don't, you could be there one day. So have a little bit of respect for anyone who steps in that ring. You never know what they're doing, what's going on behind the scenes. A lot of people are battling things that you don't know about. So shut your mouth, work on you, focus on you, act like a champion. That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, let's bring that fight on.
Are you somebody, you and Hannah had quite a bit of stuff to say? Was it one of those, it was all in selling the fight, or there was legit, like, you didn't like each other?
I didn't like her. Legit. I mean, of course, it's great to sell the fight. The fuel for between both of us definitely helped. I think everyone was really highly anticipating that fight because of the bad blood. But, it's the same thing. I gave her all the respect in the world at the beginning, but once you lose my respect, you get a different version. And I told her at weigh-in, I said, I didn't have a problem with my other two opponents. So there's that.
You threw us all for a loop when, like, again, we didn't go to the press conference, so we didn't see, like what she did there. But when we were at the weigh-in, when she kind of jabbed you a little bit in the face and you clocked her back, I mean, the look on Feldman's face, he was pissed.
Yeah,
But
it
like you
was.
have to
He
you
was
have to
like, you
stand up for
can't do
yourself.
that.
Yeah, like, but it's one of those things. Like, again, like they let her kind of get away with a lot of stuff, and they were babying her, and so I feel like she felt like spoiled and entitled. You know what I mean? And you took
That's
the
exactly how she was acting. I completely 100% agree, and I was not happy I got fined for it.
you did.
I'm still actually talking about that to them because I guarantee she wasn't fined, but she put her hands on me to, like, I literally posted the video of the clip at press conference where she did her little motion the first time. I let it slide. Then she did it again at weigh-in. I shrugged her off to like be like, get off me. I even warned her at that point to like, don't touch me. And she pushed me with her fist. And I'm like, I didn't even think twice, honestly. Like, I was like, and it's so funny because talking about Misfit, she apparently posted something afterwards. Somebody told me that she said something about like, oh, after that, Jessica's in trouble after seeing her punch her. She's in trouble. I purposely did not put any power behind that shot. That was a quick, don't touch me ever again shot. That was all that was. I was not going to risk knocking her out.
Sure.
So I thought that was funny because, like, both of them, even Hannah posted after the weigh ins, like, oh, I thought you had hands. You're in big trouble tomorrow night now, or something like that. And I'm like, sweetheart, I tapped you. I said, you'll feel every bit of my power tomorrow night. And I wasn't lying.
It's bizarre that they find you when all you hear about is how they love the extra, the theatrical stuff at the weigh-ins, and literally
Yeah.
all you did was stood up for yourself. But I mean, you got like you have Perdomo basically. He hit Steve Aurelius so hard he stumbled. Like you knew, like that guy. I mean, he almost knocked him out the night before. Like that was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they love to hype up that the drama, and you got fined for that.
That's what's crazy. I know it's nuts. Like I was shocked, and honestly, a couple of the people that we spoke to weren't even aware of it. So we're trying to figure that out now. Like we're trying to figure it out because I don't know if that was even, in my opinion, the commission is the one that fines, and I have to sign something, and I never signed anything. So I got to figure that out.
Was it BKFC that fined you, or was it the Mohegan Sun who is the commission for that out there?
I have no idea, but it
Okay,
was taken out of my check. So
crazy.
whoever writes the checks, I guess.
Okay, we'll go back to Dubai. You stayed longer. Like, what was it like? What'd you do? Like, you went on like a little mini vacation. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. Man, if you're in Dubai, you gotta soak it up as long as you can, I guess. And you can't really do much beforehand. I focus on the fight, and I like overly obsess, like I hyper focus. So I don't do anything beforehand really. I did a couple little things, but I really wanted to enjoy it afterwards. So we got to enjoy everywhere. We even went to Abu Dhabi. So it was an incredible trip all together. My husband and I got to spend some time together, and in fight camp I really just am non-existent. I'm like a hermit. So it was nice. It was very nice.
Why do you feel like it's so hard for Jihad to tell what the difference between two bald white guys? You know what I mean? He kept calling me Steve. He kept calling me Steve, and I was like, "Bro, Gator." Like I feel like I've known you long enough that you should know my name by now. But he couldn't
I mean,
remember my
Ahad
name.
also thinks he hits me with the noodles more than he does, so um, he's gonna beat my ass tonight. Um, no, I think it's just old age. He's forgetful, and maybe his eyesight's going. No. I'm just kidding. I love Hod. It is kind of funny though. It was funny. You guys kind of
What
do look similar.
Steve's a nice guy. Like I'd never met him before. So no, he's definitely nice. Like I said, I was so excited that I got to hang out with Shift. And it was unfortunate. My fighter was having visa issues. So he showed up 4 days late. So I
Yeah,
literally was absorbed in the Shift team. And then I got to help you guys train. It was fantastic.
it was being absorbed in the shift team, man. That's it's not an easy task. We're all nuts.
You guys are psychopaths. Yeah, it's so weird, and they're all such different attitudes and different, like different. Like it's so weird. It's such a melting pot, and I think that's why you guys are so good.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just I love all each of us have our own, you know, good parts, good, good fundamental parts that we help each other grow from. Really, like, we're each good in different areas and we help each other elevate to different levels and we push each other because we're all so good that, we all strive for greatness. So I it really is just a team that anyone I would be hopeful that anyone gets a team like this, honestly.
Okay, you won a belt. Did you take the belt with you through the airport? We talked to Big Ben, and he's like he doesn't like everybody seeing the belt. He puts it away when he can. But are you somebody who like I want everybody to see the belt? You like traveling with it? Does it get you anything special when you're traveling through the airport with the belt?
Honestly, you get stopped a lot. If you like the attention, that's one thing. I'm kind of Ben is a lot like me, honestly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my fans. I want you to come up and say hey to me. I want you to come take pictures. Like I am all about that. I love that. But my husband's the one's like, you got to bring your belt. You got to bring your belt. I'm like, babe, it's gonna be a lot though. It's gonna. So I mean, no, I did bring it through the airport. I carried it with me, and you get stopped a lot. That's all I gotta say. You get stopped a lot. You don't get no special treatment though, honestly, and they just say congratulations.
I wasn't sure if they're like, oh, come through this lane. I wasn't sure if you got to skip the lane or anything.
See, and I could never do that. I could never. I am way too. Honestly, I'm way too humble to be like, do you even know who I am? I would never be able to do that. I'd never be able to be like, I'm world champ. I can't. I almost tried it because it was a full flight. I almost was like, let me be in first class. You see this thing, but I didn't.
Okay, it seems like your nonprofit. You're really starting to make some headway with that. Now you got the fight behind you. You're really so. Let's talk about your nonprofit and tell me more about that.
Oh, I'm so excited because it is really taking off. I'm in the works of finding an RV for a mobile safe house. So there's a lot of for domestic violence victims. My nonprofit is the Widows Web Incorporated. I'm pairing up with other nonprofit organizations and doing little seminars. Ignite Her Incorporated. We just did one in Palm Harbor. I'm really excited. It's the self defense stuff, and once I get this mobile safe house, so I had an idea. I've literally put a lot of thought in this over years, and I thought about it a lot. There's a lot of safe houses that have designated areas, but if that address gets disclosed for some reason, and it does, and it would, that's where I would come in. They don't have a mobile safe house yet, so it'll be the first one, and having one that's mobile and can be moved when immediately or moving someone from one safe house to the other, that's where I'll come in. So I'm really excited about that, and it's really starting to take off.
You're someone who's had trauma. You're able to put your trauma into the ring. If you could advocate for other women of trauma, would it be to take some self defense and start training?
100%. Even if you haven't had trauma, I mean, it gives you confidence. It is a portal. Like you literally, if you have any kind of anxiety, if you have any kind of, it's the most underutilized antidepressant to have some kind of training or working out. But just to be able to have that confidence of walking around that you can defend yourself when needed, it's a huge aspect. And I highly recommend it for anyone.
I'm going to give you a shout out to your merch store. Look at that, Jessica Borga, the real queen of violence, and you're nice enough to sign it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do. I love signing, so I love when people come up to me. I really do.
I love when you
Especially
said,
at events.
do you want me to personalize it? And I was thinking it was going to be like, Jason, you're the hottest corner gator guy I know. And you wrote XO on it. And I was like, I guess that's personalized.
Next time I'll be like XO hubby.
Yeah, side hubby. Okay, what's next? Like, when do you want to be back? Like, I mean, clearly you didn't suffer any damage. Is it one of those, like, would you like to fight up there in Sturgis? Do you want to try to do one of those big international cards? Like, what would you like?
All of it.
I
I
mean, you
really
do have the
honestly
biker vibe, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think
I
you could be
do.
huge in Sturgis.
Sturgis would be right up my aisle. Like I literally I have I used to have a bike anyway. I just sold it not long ago. I'm probably going to be getting another one because I've been itching for one lately. But yeah, biker country is always my style. Me and Mundell is pretty much like the same person. I think I'd do really well in Sturgis. Um, Honestly, I love the international cards. I know they got one, possibly Australia coming up. That would be
I believe
freaking.
July though. Yeah, like July sometime. Yep.
Yeah, I know that's a little soon now, but yeah, I would love that. That would be amazing. I honestly am ready to go though, at the last minute. Like I just want to fight.
Let's talk about this though. Like the whole going over like a week early. That was the one thing I didn't like having to be around the hotel the whole time. And you know, like you said, when you're fighting, you're around the hotel. You don't get to go do a whole bunch of stuff. And it's you know like it's kind of nice fighting in Florida where you're only there 2 days in advance versus like 10 days in advance and hanging out and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a home crowd's always great, but honestly, my entire career in Miami and pro for MMA, I went to their hometown and I was always in, enemy territory. So I am no stranger to that and I'm okay with that. But I do feed off a great crowd. Like bigger crowds, hometown crowds, like that's definitely it. I feed off of it. So that's why I do so good with the big cards and tower. It's just something I feed off of. I love the crowd.
It's kind of weird. So had Dubai and they're like a much quieter crowd. Much it's kind of like when you watch soccer and no one's cheering, and they're watching the
It
game.
was.
Yeah, but then you watch like this past weekend where they're out there in like your hometown. It was loud
Rowdy.
as can be. Yeah, and you hear them chanting for Reber and stuff, and like it was crazy loud. I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of nice to be able to watch the fight and see all the technical aspect, but it's nice to also have the crowd behind you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you were definitely right. It was probably the quietest in Dubai. It was interesting, but I do think that was just their culture. But yeah, it was interesting.
Who's the most famous person that sent you a congratulations, you're a champion message?
Probably Connor.
Outside Connor, is there somebody? I was maybe Governor DeSantis, I don't know, like somebody famous.
No, I mean, Ben did. I mean,
I
I'm
just
trying
wasn't
to
sure
think of.
maybe about boxers or MMA, anybody like that. I guess it's
Mm,
weird though, right? Because you would
a
think it's
lot
a
of
big.
people did. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of people reached out, and I know a lot of famous people, but I just most famous man. I'd have to think on that one. I'd have to look through back to my messages.
All right. Okay, well, again, I appreciate your time. You're always lovely. I appreciate everything you do on the Reddit. You're fantastic on the Reddit. Is there any message you want to give before we go?
No, just thank you to all my team, my sponsors, my family. I love you guys. I will be airing my story on ABC News Channel 8 on this Thursday. They're going to be airing pretty much a summary of my, who I am and where I came from and stuff like that. So it'll be airing all throughout the day, multiple times. So
Beck Rawlings just did that. Like I would think it'd be great if somebody was, like you're another person. It'd be fantastic for them to come and kind of do like a, where are you now and what you came from. I think it'd be awesome.
yeah, I mean, I want to use my past as an inspiration to anyone and everyone who's fighting any kind of battle that, mentally, physically, emotionally, like, I want to be an inspiration for people. A lot of people have been calling me the people's champ, and I really like that. That means a lot to me. Even ABC News station was like, said I'm like a modern day Rocky story. And I love that kind of like that to me means everything. I want to be an inspiration for others and I want to help others.
It was kind of funny. I just watched a clip, and my Irish brother Anwar was on like Good Day Tampa, and the guy had a funny thing. He said, "You went to Dubai for 20 some seconds," and I was like, "That's how I felt." I was like, "You guys went to Dubai for less than a round." It was insane.
Hey, man, we don't get paid like what do you say? We don't get paid overtime.
Yeah, we don't get paid by the round. We go, finish it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Like it's looking like I might have a buddy on the card out there in Hollywood. So I get to hopefully bump into you again, see my doppelganger Steve, and maybe confuse Holly for a little bit. So.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so too.
All right, homie. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Bye.
Bye.